Hey guys, welcome back. Let's start on the head. We'll start with a cube. Scale it up. If you press 3, you can see kind of like what the scale of this is going to be. You can press this button, which is X-ray, so you can see the scale here. Don't move it side to side, we just want to scale. And here we can just use vertices to move it around. And there's kind of an outline in this drawing where the head shape is, so we'll just try and match that. Now, the chin drops down below like the sphere of the head, right? So we want to make the sphere slightly above that, right? So we're just gonna hide the body so we can see, because the chin comes up like this and then the back of the skull comes out. So we'll just shape it this way here. In the front, it looks a little taller than in the back, and that's okay. We'll just compromise. All right, at this point, we want to subdivide. So let's just subdivide once, like this, and then subdivide again. And this will be the head from here. And then we can start shaping it a little more. At this point, I want to start working on the chin here. So we need to extrude the bottom. So the way I like to do it is I just take this much of the geometry and then extrude down. Click extrude and then move that down. So you get something that looks like this. And it kind of looks like a skull already. And then the vertices here, we just want to move back. Ignore the way the lips protrude, and also ignore the nose, and just focus on the eyes, forehead, and the rest. So the next thing I want to do is I want to square off the chin, because right now the way the chin looks, this right here is not very good, and also we have these long faces here. Let's turn symmetry on. So select the center line, hold Control Shift, right click, symmetry, click topology. Now you have topological symmetry. So we'll just do this, and same here. We can delete these corners here and then adjust. We need a line for the mouth and a line for the eyes. Now, sometimes it's hard to see from this angle which line we're supposed to use, right? So what you can do is what I told you in the beginning, is we can take this image plane, this one, duplicate it, move it forward, and then I'm going to make a new layer. I'm going to call this layer image plane front, like that. Click save, set this to R, and then if we hide all the layers, they all hide, or we can leave this one. This is the front layer, and because it's transparent, it stays on top, and now we can see through it. So we have a line for the eyes here, which is great. We just need to take these lines and just move them over like that. We need a line for the mouth, so we'll take these lines here, move them down, bring this down, and then the nose will be somewhere around here. But we have the eyes, now we have the mouth, and let's just put in some basic geo for the eyes and mouth. And all we're doing right now is building the topology. We're trying to stick to the reference material as much as we can, but we're really concerned mostly about topology right now. The reason I wanted the line through the eyes is because I want to find a point that will be the center of the eyes. And then from here, I can radiate my edge loops this way, like that, and then I can draw the eye. And then we'll go from the side view, and now we need to match the side. Now you can see how here it's really like in the wrong place, and that's okay. That's because our eye sockets are set back. So we're just going to push all of this back, and then select the vertices for the eyes, and then move them back only in Z. So this geometry now we don't need. This was just temporary, so we can delete that. Now let's do the mouth. So the mouth is very similar to the eyes, except instead of using the center point, we use the corners here. So I'll go this way, add my lines here. Now I can use Insert Edge Loop tool and set this to equal. Autocomplete is off, and then all I need to do is double click, and then just shift click the others. And I just make a little space like that. And then select the faces here, select the rest, make sure nothing in the back, and click delete. And this will be the mouth. So now I can kind of spread these vertices around. Now we can do the nose. So the nose, it's going to be, basically the way we're going to do it is we're going to use the eye loops to create the nose. And so first we need to add a loop. I don't do it with edge flow, I just do autocomplete and I add a loop like this. Now the nose will be added here. So what we need to do now is connect right here and then go down and then into the lips. And if we can delete these vertices now we have some geo for the nose here. And always make sure you adjust all the loops afterwards, because you can see now this is straight, so we need to round this off. Right here, this brow area, we also don't want this vertex here, this high valence vertex, so we're going to just go across like that. And then, oops, just delete these edges here. And we're going to add a loop all the way around. And I'm going to use it, insert with edge flow, like this. And first I want to see where it's going to go. And you can see it's going right into the mouth on the bottom. And that's perfect. This is what we need, because we want to match the top and bottom here. So we have a little geometry for the lips. And then we have this on the top here. Whenever you do this, you make sure that you don't keep these really skinny faces next to these thick faces. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go all the way back here, select this edge loop, and then shift right click and click edit edge flow like that. It's going to adjust it and push it a little bit away. I'm going to do the same to this loop like that. So we're just spacing them out. We can do it again to this one, and that's good enough. And then we can just connect this. Okay, so you can see we're building out that face. And from time to time, I clear history and freeze transformations. And if you're not comfortable doing it this way, you can of course sculpt it first and then retopologize. I do it both ways. Sometimes I sculpt it and then retopologize, and sometimes I do it this way and then just take it into ZBrush and sculpt from there. So now let's do the nose extrusion. So the way I do that is I just take the nose here and then extrude. So this gives me more geometry to work with, right? But we get this bridge issue here. So just Control delete those edges. With all that we have an issue with here is this edge loop. Now this edge loop is not an issue, because if we delete this edge loop here, we can just take this loop and loop it around. The only thing is, when I loop this around, it's going to come back over itself and make a spiral. So what I want to do is I want to stop that spiral, because I want to redirect it. So I'm going to go like this, and then go right into there. But now we have this extra loop here that's a little close and also doesn't end anywhere. So this one, we just push over this, then over the nose. If you double click this loop, you can delete it. Now we have clean geometry. We have some extra geo here, we just need to get rid of. And the way I like to do the lips is I just go in and draw what I think the lip shape should be. If in the drawing you have a lip shape, that is really helpful. Here we don't have it, so I just kind of make one up. And you can't start on the center, so you gotta start out and then go in. To get the symmetry back, because I want to make sure I'm working with symmetry, want to click here, make sure symmetry is on, and then I'm going to select the side that I want to keep, which is this side. It's going to select both sides, that's okay. Then we'll go into Edit Mesh and click Symmetrize. And now it's symmetrical again. So let's add a loop here. We'll add it with edge flow, like that, and then adjust. So let's fix this part here, and the way we will do that is by just adding more loops. So insert edge loop, add one here, here. That's going to help there. This point here, we need to redirect. We also need to redirect over the nose, these loops here. So we need to add a little more loops for the lips. So I'm going to do equal distance, just add a loop here like this, and then move it back. What we need to do here is get rid of this point and this one, and then figure out like what can we do here. So if I also get rid of this edge, I can see that I have 3 loops, 3 vertices here that if I space them out, I'm starting to get nicer edge flow. So we have 1, 2, 3, but I only have 1 loop here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here, insert edge loop tool. I'm going to add a loop here. I'm going to add one here as well, and then move this one over like that. Delete, and then we can connect. I want to move this vertex here so that I can square this out, because this is going to cause issues. If I get rid of this edge, then insert edge loop tool, and add one here, which goes all the way around, then one here, there. Then we need a loop here as well. I want to connect this vertex and this one. This will create that smile line. So now we have these lines here, right, that go over the nose. And then we have the mouth. We just need to fix this. And what we can do here is redirect these loops over the nose. For these extra vertices that we have left over, you could just drag over them a selection and then hit delete. So as I do this, I can now see that this is going to be an issue right here, this face. So we need to fix that, and what we need to do is just take this, drop it down, and then have this one go around. So in the drawing, he doesn't really have nostrils. There's like a little bit of a thing here, but we can add that. And so let's just do that. One way we can do it is by extruding this area. So if we extrude this, this will create more geo here. So we'll just do this, extrude. And then you can do an offset and then a thickness just to kind of push them away. So now we just created more geometry in this area. And then we can start moving those vertices around. We just need a loop here. So what I'm going to do be over here, so we'll just start it from here. Like that. We just need an extra loop here, and because we added this section here, we can add a loop, but I want to do it a little differently. I'm going to add a loop across here like that, and then we can go from here right there. Let's add an extra loop. After some noodling, I'm pretty happy with where we ended up. The topology looks pretty good. We have smile line here. We have good topology around the mouth. We have loops around the eyes. We don't have as many as we need, but that's okay. Because the next part, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some sculpting. I'm going to do it within Maya. You can take this to ZBrush, you can take it to your favorite sculpting application, but I want to do it in Maya. I'm going to show you the process that I use. So for this, normally I would use a Wacom tablet. I use Wacom tablets at work, but I got the chance to test out the new Zenlabs wireless tablet, and so I'm going to use that for this project. The hardware on these tablets looks really nice. It's a nice thin tablet. It's wireless, which is great. And the pens that come with it, it comes with 2 pens, the version that I have, and a really nice carrying case for it. The pens feel great. There's 2 buttons, as every tablet should have, and let's start sculpting. So the first thing I need to do is I need to subdivide this, because if I don't subdivide, there's not really much to sculpt. And if you press 3, you're not subdividing. This is just a preview. So the way I do it is I'll do a poly smooth on it, then you go to the options for the poly smooth and then set this something high. You don't want to go too high, so something like 3 works really well, and you can see it's going to be pretty dense. And now we can start sculpting. With it selected, I'm going to go to the sculpting tab, and I'm going to use the this brush. It's called the build up surface brush, and I'm going to use it just the way I would use a wax brush in ZBrush. And I'm going to reset it to show you my settings. So this is the way I like to do it. First, I set the size to 0, and I set the strength to 0. The symmetry here, you can click topology. Sometimes it'll ask you to select the center line again. All you need to do is just pick an edge in the middle. And now you should have topological symmetry on. The next thing we need to do is we need to go into the options here. I'm going to open up all of the little drop downs. And for the surface volume, the default one is this profile, but there's other profiles we can choose. So I like to choose this one. So this is the default one, and I like this one. I want to have a stronger brush in the center. Then I'm going to go down and click here, pick stamp. And what I need to do is find this square stamp. This will let us mimic the stamp tool that the stamp brush that is used in ZBrush. It's like clay buildup or clay tubes brush. And so now wireframe. I'm going to turn off wireframe. I don't want to see the wireframe. And then that's it. We're ready to go. Now the reason I shrunk the brush and decreased the strength because I want to be able to set it. And sometimes the values are so high it's really hard to get down to 0 or really close to 0. So now that I have the brush set to 0, I can hold B and push out like this, just left click and drag, and I can increase the brush size. And then for strength, I can hold M, as in Mary, and then left click and go up for strength. Now I'm just using the mouse right now, and you can see what it does. Just makes a brush like this. Basically, it looks like clay tubes in ZBrush. Now I'm going to use the Zenlabs pen, and what I need to do is right here, you see we have this cavity here. And it's, for me, it's kind of hard to get that fixed in with just moving vertices. But if I sculpt, I can easily do that. So I need a little more strength. So add that in. And the thing is, we don't have to be good, like very clean with what we're doing here. Because it doesn't have to be smooth or anything, and I'll show you why. You can be very rough with how you do this, and all I'm doing is just building up surface and removing where I don't need it. So if I don't want surface, like his cheeks are really puffy, so I'm gonna just hold control, remove geometry from here. When you're kind of happy with what you've done, again, I'm not really concerned about it looking smooth or clean. I just want to build up the volume where I want it. So, or here, give him a stronger jaw. And then from here, I'm going to use the grab brush, increase my scale here, and then I can move parts. Next step is to remove the extra resolution. So all we need to do now is go back to the smooth here and set this to 0. And now the sculpt that we did is still there, we just don't have all of those lumps. And this looks pretty good. And now we're ready to connect it to the body. This topology here doesn't really matter. Once I add the ears, it's going to get fixed and removed. But this is what we're going to use to connect to the neck. So right here, what we need is a hole that will give us 16 edge loops. Sometimes it's hard to see how to connect the neck when the whole body is there. So I'm going to duplicate the body, hide the original, and then select these faces here, grow my selection, and then delete the rest. So that all I have left is this. And then I can figure out how many faces I need to delete to connect the neck. I can do a Boolean. Boolean gets really messy. So instead of Boolean, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these vertices here. And I'm going to move them until they just before they penetrate. So this is right through the neck, and this will go behind it. And I'm going to turn symmetry on. I'm just going to go like an equal distance away from the head. And the way I'm doing this is I'm holding C and then middle dragging on the edge that I want to snap to. Now, what we need to do here is start connecting. And I can just start snapping. If I combine them, then merge the vertices. So like these vertices here, click merge, and then soften edge. So it's already looking a little better, but we can make it even better. So we can just take these edges here. Let's turn symmetry back on. And just move these back. That. Smooth that out. I want to take this edge and do a slide edge on it. Just move it down a little bit. So we have a little more space there. This is okay, but I want to move this face a little away from where it is. Like basically, what's happening right now is that we have this face that is like a trapezoid, and the high valence point is, or the vertex with more than 4 sides, is right on the fold, which is not great because it can cause pinching. So I want to move this point into a flatter area. And one way I can do that with symmetry on is I can hold shift and click here using the multi-cut tool, and then hold shift and click there. And that will make a line right there. And I want to do the same on this one as well, because I don't want this point here. So I'm going to basically, I'm holding shift, splitting those two like that. Then if I select these vertices here and scale them, I can get them real close together. And because I have symmetry, I can't just use merge. I need to increase the distance on the merge, and that will merge them. So see, basically what I'm doing is I took that high valence point and I moved it here. And now I can do the same on this side. You can also do it with an edge. Scale it down as much as you can. Then select the vertices and then click merge. Now this will come up, hold control, left click and drag until you see the merge, like that. Now we can use the multi-cut tool again and click here, hold shift, click there, then here, then shift, and go around to right here, and then shift, keep holding shift, and we just moved those points there and added a loop here, and this gives us a nicer topology flow around the neck connection. So now let's block out the ears, because right now the head still looks odd. And the reason it looks odd is because of the character design. It looks fine from the front and from the side, but like this doesn't really match this. Like it looks like a really cutesy little character here. It looks very chiseled character on this side. So trying to make a head that fits both is a little weird. But if we put the ears in, I think it's gonna put everything into perspective. So he also has these really deep eye sockets because of the way they drew him here. Like you can see, we're matching the drawing, but the eyes are really inset. So let's add some really rough geo for the ears. So to block out the ears, I made a cube, and I'm just the way I bring things up is I hold V and just snap it to closest vertex, which happens to be here. Oh, also we can connect the head to the body. That will help as well. So you can see the head connects right there. So if we select this edge or select the faces, throw the selection, delete that, find both, then select the vertices here and click merge. So the reason I don't merge all the vertices is because I don't have a mouth sock yet, and I have vertices that are touching really close right here. So I don't want to accidentally merge the mouth closed. And that's why I do it that way. So here's our character with a head. So let's add some ears. So clear history, and so the ear. What I can do here is, instead of manually moving those, I can put a lattice on it and then move these lattice points back like that to make the ear thicker at the base. And you can do that with any edge loop, so we're going to do it with this one as well. So let's add more detail. I want to manually add a loop right here because I want some extra detail there with edge flow. And then we'll subdivide one more time. The reason I did that is because now I can pull out Now we can start adding more detail, like with this folded part. Now I'm gonna go kind of crazy with this. What I want to do next is try and do the same thing that I did with the head. So I'm going to take the ear, I'm going to subdivide. That's the 3. Make sure you press 1 on the actual geometry, because if you press 3 on this, it's going to be really, really slow. So when you're sculpting, you want to make sure you turn preview off by pressing 1. Then we can go to sculpting, use the wax brush. So now let's turn off the subdivisions, and we just have a basic ear like this, and it's fine. It's like there's a lot more we can do to it, but I really don't want to. So let's back to 0 actually, not 1. And because all we need to do is connect it. Once we do another subdivision, we can do more sculpting, but the main geometry is there, which is good. So now what I also want to do is I want to make sure that it actually fits the head, because right now it's so swept back, I don't think it's going to look good. So what I want to do is select the ear, put a lattice on it, and then select this part here, and then we can bring them forward and make them look, from the front it looks the same, just from the side they're not going to be as swept back. So we'll just do this. I want to bring them more this way. I think that looks better. We can freeze them, reset them. If I duplicate and just put on the other side, we can see what it's looking like. Okay, not bad. So now let's connect it. Now the connection of the ear is a little more difficult than the head to the neck, but it shouldn't be bad. I'm just going to use the multi-cut tool and draw where these edges kind of fall, where the ear penetrates the head. Edges here, you know, that kind of just end like that. We'll just use the multi-cut tool and redraw them, reconnecting this. Control delete. Alright, back to the head and ear. Now I can delete these faces, and when I do my connection, I know that it's going to work out fine. Now this hole is 16 edges, and so is the ear. Now you can see it's not matching up here, it's like really low, and that's fine. We don't really care. We're just going to select this vertex and start snapping. So I'm going to select the head, the ear, combine, select these vertices, and merge them. So right away, it looks like this. And what we have to do now is just redraw some of these loops. Now, because this is a closed object, that means if I have an edge here and then I have an edge here, I can connect them together. And I just need to find on either side where they go. So like if I use a insert edge loop tool and click like this, you can see it's going to go through this way. So I don't want it to do that. So I'm going to get rid of these two edges, and I'm going to add insert edge loop tool right here, like that. So I'm going to go over the ear and then end up over here. This edge, I'm going to go from here to here and do edit edge flow. It's going to smooth that out, and same here. That, and we can reconnect. This right here is really tight. You just need to loop this over the ear like that. This edge, edit edge flow. this can connect here. Soften edge. Now our last issue is right here. This here looks okay. We can take this edge and do edit edge flow. Smooth that transition out. So there's a couple ways to fix this. We can do it like this. And see what that gives us. If I'm happy with it, I'll leave it. If I'm not, I'll try something else. Now let's add this ear to the other side. And we're going to do that is select half of the head. This half. Make sure we have a good selection around the neck. And then delete it. Duplicate. On the duplicate, select half, right click, invert selection, delete. Now I have a half of the head here, -1 in X. Combine. We need to merge certain vertices. So I'm going to first merge down here. Then I'm going to merge above the lips. See, we have a problem here. Because we need to merge that. So I'm going to start merging from the bottom, and I'm going to go up to here, up to the bottom lip, not selecting the top lip, and click merge. If I don't see these merging, hold Control and then drag, and you can see you have to be really careful because you can start merging things you don't want to merge. That's, you have to be careful with it. There's also a mirror command you can use in Maya, but it sometimes works well, sometimes it can be confusing. So just do it this way. See if we can merge the neck here. When you press 3, you should instantly see where you have merging issues. That. So now what I want to do is I want to make sure my character is symmetrical. So right click, click edge, select the center line, hold Control Shift, right click, symmetry, topology. Then I want to pick one side, it doesn't matter which one. Right click vertices, and then select one side and make sure you get all of the vertices on one side. Then let's go to edit mesh and click symmetrize. It's going to make it symmetrical. The center line is not symmetrical, so I'm going to make the center line symmetrical. The way I'm going to do that is I'm going to double click it, hold Control Shift, right click, turn symmetry off, hold Control right shift again, right click, make sure keep spacing is off, and then I'm going to select world space. Now if I select the move tool, hold X, and then using the red arrow I can snap the center line to the grid. That makes it perfectly symmetrical. Right, so at this point we can send this to ZBrush and do a little more sculpting. So in the next video we'll do some ZBrush sculpting and then bring this back into Maya and do some more. Thanks for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, please subscribe, hit the like button, and I'll see you guys next time.